Alright, let's quickly review what we learned in the last lesson. There are three core pillars to why this system works. Pillar number one is leverage. Leveraging the bank's money, or OPM, to maximize our debt-paying capabilities. Pillar number two is accessibility. Knowing that you have immediate access to a large sum of money in case of emergencies. And pillar number three, effective interest. This is the mathematical difference of how interest is being charged against you. And with some simple steps, we can save tons of money. Alright, now that we've got all the basics out of the way, this is why you're here. Now that we've laid down the foundation, it's time to start building your financial system. We are going to properly set up your financial framework step by step. I literally can't believe I'm going to be teaching you this. This is a closely held secret to the success of my financial freedom, and I'm going to be giving it to you. First, I want to remind you why you are here. This is a really important lesson, and I really want to take my time with it. This lesson also may be a little bit difficult. So again, I really want to slow it down and take it step by step. I'm trying to break it down into as simple of steps as possible. And please review this lesson as many times as you feel you need to. Alright, let's go. If you've ever gone to a new bank and open up a new account, you're often presented with the opportunity to open up a savings account and sometimes a credit card at the same time. This is part of their duties. They want to open up as many accounts as possible. And if they do offer to open up a credit card, they may present it in a way that offers you overdraft protection to your checking account. Overdraft protection is a feature offered by banks to keep your checking account from overdrafting and incurring overdraft fees. And an overdraft occurs when you write a check or swipe your debit card, but don't have enough money in the checking account to completely fund the transactions. When I first graduated, I tried to save as much money as possible. So what I used to do is I try to slide my money from my checking into my savings. But in doing so, after I'd use my debit card, sometimes I overdrafted because I didn't have enough money to cover my gas or at the time food. So one night I went out 3 times and I got overdrafted 3 different occasions. So I incurred $35 for each transaction that overdrafted. So it was over $100 in fees. In this lesson, you're going to be setting up what's called a sweep account. A sweep account is a bank account that automatically transfers amounts that exceed or fall short of a certain level into a higher interest earning investment option at the close of each business day. Commonly, the excess cash is swept into money market funds, but we're going to be using the sweep account a little bit differently. Instead of excess money going into a money market account, we're going to be using this money to be focused on our debts. And again, don't worry, I'm going to help you every step of the way. Now that you've filled out your honest budget worksheet, let's take a look at your bank to see what kind of banking tools you're already using. Does your bank offer online checking? Do you have a savings account? And do you know its annual percentage rate? If you don't already have a savings account, this would be an opportunity to set one up. This will help your understanding of the flow of money and make future lessons more cognitively digestible. The exact reason will be explained in future lessons. Does your bank offer a line of credit? Specifically, does your bank offer a personal line of credit? What is the minimum and maximum personal line of credit they offer? If your bank offers all of these, we can move forward. You'll want to reach out to your bank and make an appointment with the loan officer. Take note of his or her name, email, and direct phone line so that way you can stay in direct communication with them. Better yet, just grab their business card. You can also stop by, but you may need to wait. Remember, you're here to take control of your finances. This is one of many steps that you'll do to gain confidence in your personal finances. Once you're with the loan officer or whoever is responsible for opening up personal lines of credit, you're going to want to ask them a few questions. Ask them if they're familiar with sweep accounts. If they're not familiar with sweep accounts, I would recommend speaking with someone who is, or you may need to educate them on the product. In worst case scenario, you may need to look into another bank. I'll explain why, which we'll get into my theory later on in this masterclass. Now, let's say you're sitting down with your prospective loan officer. You're going to want to tell them something. This is really, really important. I cannot emphasize it enough. You're gonna wanna tell them that you want your personal line of credit to be used as overdraft protection to your checking account. This is such an important step that I want you to hear it again. You're gonna want to tell the loan officer that you wanna use a personal line of credit as an overdraft protection to your checking account. One more time, you're going to tell the loan officer that you want to open a personal line of credit and use it as an overdraft protection for your checking account. You have to tell them this because they have to go into their banking system and connect the accounts together. This is one thing that is a little bit out of your control, but because you're telling them what you want, you're putting the control back in your hands. So, how much of a line of credit do you need? You're specifically going to ask for the maximum amount they offer. So, if they offer a $50,000 line of credit, you're going to request a $50,000 line of credit. Don't be intimidated by asking for the maximum amount. This is just a tool and you're only going to be using a fraction of it. And I'm going to be helping you use the tool safely and properly. Ideally, the minimum you want to ask for is something that'll cover 6 months of living expenses. At some point, you're going to be filling out official bank application papers. But again, don't be intimidated by this. It's very similar to applying for a credit card. They're very likely going to be running your credit. So barring any significant past financial issues, you should be given a good portion of what you ask for, if not the maximum amount. Even if you're given the minimum amount, take it, because we'll be able to increase that credit line later, especially as you pay down debt. If you get approved for the full asking amount, great. It'll make future lessons easier. But if not, let's say they give you the minimum, that's okay. I have a simple solution for you. It just requires a savings account. Let's recap what we talked about in this lesson. The most important thing I want you to take away from this is that you are going to open a new personal line of credit with your current bank. And you're going to use it as overdraft protection for your checking account. This is a hugely important step. I cannot emphasize it enough.